It's a good track, isn't it? And it's got Weekend written all over it. Can't be not kid on ya. Hi. What a tune. Gaurav Chopra with Alia Bhatt in this. Then released on the 10th of March. It's being signed with Holly. Right, let's leave the Bollywood stars alone, alright? Because there was a lot of action that was on the television over the past 3 months or so. I'm talking about Bigg Boss, which are recently concluded. But as you know, I've got a series of interviews that have been going on here revolving around Bigg Boss, and I'm so happy because I've got one of the stars from the recently concluded Bigg Boss series on my show. I know there's been a lot of demand for him. So chala, aapne pakara to wo aa gaya. Wo aa gaya indeed. It is Gaurav Chopra who joins me live here on Drivetime. Gaurav, welcome to the show. How are you?
I am fabulous. How are you doing?
I'm doing well as well. It's so good. I'm so glad that we finally got you here on my show because there's a lot of fans that have been asking for an interview with you.
No, I straight away, to everyone who saw the show, liked me, continues to support me, thank you very, very much.
Oh, and there's a massive fan base of yours, so I'm sure you've been looking at your social networking sites to see exactly the kind of following you've got. I think even after Bigg Boss...
That's the only thing I'm doing since I've come out.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to some of the questions from the fans, but before we go to that, how's it been for you? I mean, it's been about, nearly 2 weeks now since you've been out at the Bigg Boss house. You gone back to normality? How's it been for you?
It's all right. When I went in, I was skeptical, but I sort of told myself that I was going to be myself. I was going to be the way that I am outside, and that's what I was doing. And so, when you're not adopting a strategy, it's easy to just switch back to your life because that's what you were doing inside as well.
Mm-hmm. Did you, now that you've been at the house for nearly 2 weeks, have you been able to see any of the footage? And are you happy with the way you were portrayed on television?
I actually have stayed away from that. I haven't watched any single episode or any bit of it. But though the social network that you mentioned, all the fans keep messaging a lot of and sending a lot of clips to me, so I end up watching those. And those seem to be a lot of fun. And then sometimes you look at yourself and you say, God, why was I doing this? But, it seems to be that most people seem to have got the fact that this is who I am and this is how I live outside. These are my terms for my life, and that's what I was doing inside. And the fact that they got me is probably the biggest gift that Bigg Boss could have given, because actually the show could have just gone the other way.
Yeah, indeed. And not just that, though, the whole concept of the show this year had changed, hadn't it, because of celebrities versus commoners or India Wale. How did you find that part of the show?
It's subjective. It's a reality show. This is my 8th or 9th, so I know this is how it functions. There's a twist at every corner. Something unexpected happens. But the moment that they called them India Wale, for me that was like, oh, I think these guys are going to win, because how does India Wale lose in India when India Walas are voting for them? And then in any case, bichare celebrities, where have we come from? Sri Lanka?
It's so true. I know. I mean, Bigg Boss, I don't know why they did that, because I think it's a bit demeaning for the celebrities, wasn't it?
No, I guess you needed a changeover from the regular celebrity seasons to a season that is going to be probably just with common people. So, which is what I'm being told is the next season. So this was probably the changeover season. So you needed to see that happen, and I guess that they've done that well.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was referring to India Wale, referring to them as India Wale. I think that was a little bit demeaning for the other celebrities, because...
No, I was answering that, saying that, you would want the masses of the country who are voting to associate and relate to that team straight away. Mm-hmm. So you give them that tag. You give them the relatability. You give them the identity that the masses have for themselves. Mm-hmm. So if anybody who's an Indian at heart, inside or outside the country, and you put somebody on screen in front of that person and say he's an India Wala, you've got to have relatability to him. So that's what they wanted to do, and I guess they were successful.
Okay. Gaurav, so what was the first thing you did when you left the Bigg Boss studios and you went back home? What was the one thing that you missed the most that you just couldn't wait to kind of get your hands on?
My bed.
I
have a king-size bed that I sleep on, and I had like a micro bed that I was trying to fit myself on those days. it wasn't even like a queen size. It was like a princess size bed. And then, I could never really straighten my legs out. So the first thing I did when I got home is that I did that. I plonked myself into my bed and I just straightened myself out and I said, oh, wow, I missed this. And the other thing that people would get surprised to hear is having like a wristwatch on your wrist.
Okay. Of course, you were talking about your bed. Were you a bit apprehensive lying in your own bed thinking that you're still being filmed? Because 3 months is a long time, isn't it, to be in the Bigg Boss house and to be in there?
Yes, it sort of alters your subconscious awareness because you constantly feel these things. You feel like, oh my God, someone's watching. Oh my God, someone's listening. Oh my God, they're judging. Oh my God. But except for the fact that somebody like me, I took so long to say yes to them, 5 or 6 times that they had asked me before. By the time I went this time, I told myself that this is what I'm getting into, and without getting perturbed by the fact that there are 100 cameras or there are people trying to do things or play games. I'm just going to be the way that I am outside, and that's the only thing I kept telling myself inside my head. It was like this track on loop that kept playing. That okay, just be yourself. Don't worry about it. Don't get sucked into it. Don't fall into the trap. Just be yourself.
Yeah, I mean, Bigg Boss has been running for some time now, but when you entered the Bigg Boss house, were you a little bit kind of apprehensive in the way you were portrayed, and was it kind of like some kind of thing that you had to do to kind of get yourself prepared to be going into the Bigg Boss house? I'm going
to give you a very simple answer, but it's a generic one. Reality shows don't function on good contestants coming. They function on flawed contestants improving during the show. The show thrives on that. So if someone comes in the first episode and looks like he's equipped to win, most probably he's not going to. Because everyone else is going to say, he seems like he's equipped, she seems like she's equipped, and they will target you, and you will actually somewhere lose out during the game. But somebody who seems like the underdog, maybe not, gets trained, learns his way, that journey is much more interesting for a reality show.
Indeed.
So for me, I wasn't worried about how they would portray me. For me, I was there for the psychological experience. For me, it was a test whether I was going to be able to do this or not. And I think I passed.
Yeah, no, indeed, yeah, of course. With all the love that you're getting from the fans, I think you certainly have. Let's go to some of the questions from these fans that have been sending me. I mean, I only announced the interview this morning that it's going to be happening, and, I've been inundated with so many questions. So the first one that I've got here is something to do with code words that you are using about possible future projects and a new project that you're working on. Is there anything that you can kind of shed a light on regarding that? Is that what you can say?
So there are a couple of things that are being worked upon. One of them is something that has been that has come from someone else, and there's something that I had started this process before going. I had started a production house, but I wasn't able to do anything before going. Now that I've come back, and I have my original partner and a new partner with me. All three of us have started work on it again. So it's something that I will be producing. Can't talk about it yet because it's still in the whole conceptualization, going to people and brainstorming over it. But it's shaping up really well. So it sounds interesting, sounds new, sounds adventurous, and hey, that's what all of us want.
Oh, okay. So can I ask, is it going to be something that's going to be on TV, or is it going to be something online?
No, this one is for TV. The one that I have been approached for is an online thing.
Okay, intriguing. Also, you talk about code words. There were a lot of code words being used in the Bigg Boss house. We spoke to Bonnie about this as well, about snowflakes and bougainvillea, some words like that you were using in Bigg Boss. Can you kind of shed a light on that?
So I'll tell you which ones are good words. Bougainvillea is a very good word. So is snowflakes. Sawdust is not. That's all that I can say. By the way, French toast is the best.
Okay, is it? Is it really nice? Is it? Do you like it?
Yes, it is. It is just the best. It's your dream come true.
Okay, you've got me confused now. I think all the fans are going to be asking me, Raj, you should probe him a little bit more. Give us a little bit more. Give us more.
I know you don't have time to, haggle over one question so much.
I know, and I think that you're very clever like that. So I don't think I could get the answer to that. But try to. I think if you give us a little bit more, I think you kind of put us out of our misery.
So, see, I've at least categorized the words for this one. Maybe another interview will happen sometime, and then I'll give you more.
Alrighty. Okay, let's go to a
The
question.
good words and the bad words. At least they know which ones are the good ones.
Okay, all right. Stardust, we should keep away from Stardust then, all right? Because that's the bad word.
Sawdust falls on your shoulder. Just brush it off, my friend.
Okay. Shahana is asking, if you got a chance to work with Barney in a TV series or a movie, would you? What genre would it be? What genre would you like it to be?
I think it has to be men are from Mars, women are from Venus kind of concept. But it should also sort of get quirky and funny. A lot of people who only saw the episodes, unfortunately, were not allowed to see the fun that we had.
Yeah.
Well, most of that fun was put on the app, in the unseen, undekha section. I don't know who kind of decided that this was to go in the episode and this was to go on the app. A lot of young people who are app savvy and who watch a lot of stuff on mobile phones got to see that. But a lot of other people who only watched the episodes didn't get to see the fun and the playfulness that we lived with. And so I sometimes wish like they had, because then they would understand the life a lot more. It was fun.
A question from... Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was saying. So if there's a film, the film should also be fun and funny. And
good. Sham wants
and
to...
there should be conflicts and fights.
Oh, yeah, there should be.
Some sawdust that we brush off, but some French toast in the end.
Oh, I love how you're referring back to that. Sham wants to know, was there anyone in BB whose true colours you realised only after coming out of the show?
No, I'm actually, at the cost of sounding like I knew about this, all the interviews that I gave after I came out, in fact, the moment I came out, everything that I said actually turned out to be exactly like that. It actually, in some way, whatever that I anticipated or gauged of people turned out to be true. So, nothing that I sort of realized afterwards. It was actually quite obvious inside. When you live with people day in and day out, if your eyes are open, you're able to see.
There's one question that has come up time and time again. It's to do with Rohan's animosity against Bunny in his recent interview since he's been at the Bigg Boss house. What's your take on that?
Well, each one to his own. And my association with both of them is completely devoid of my association with the other person. With Rohan, there was a brat pack right at the start. With me, Karan, Rahul, and Rohan, like the four boys, got really friendly. It was very brotherly, brotherhood, gang of brothers, band of brothers, kind of something that formed. I'm from an all-boys school, so is Rahul, so I instantly related to that association. But what happened with Bani is a completely different association. So what Rohan thinks of Bani or what Bani thinks of Rohan is actually between them. Subjectively, as per the topic, sometimes I agree with one, sometimes I agree with the other. But I personally don't like the fact that you come out and start, talking about another friend of yours outside in some other tone. I don't endorse that.
Okay. Shavs Brills is asking, is there anything for which you're grateful for while being in the Bigg Boss house?
I went in with a test in mind, saying, hey, I think I'm equipped to deal with this and these kind of situations. Let me see. Now I know for sure. So that certificate that I got, you go in for a blood test and it tells you your hemoglobin is fine. So I think my hemoglobin is fine. I can deal with all kinds of infections now. I'm happy.
And Shushmita is asking, how were you feeling when you were walking around with a sorry note on your jacket?
You should ask my jacket, and you should ask the note, and you should also ask the person it was meant for.
Okay.
I couldn't see it. You see, thankfully it was on the back.
Okay. And Banu is asking, what's the secret behind your patience and endurance, even in the worst of situations?
If I may be honest, wasn't that the test? I mean, don't people know that when they go to a Bigg Boss situation? Yeah. Are you going in not mentally preparing yourself, to be patient? That's what they're testing you for. and it's like sitting for a final exam but not preparing for it. So at some level, I'm not that I'm pretending to be modest about this, but I knew this is what it was, and I kept reminding myself. The only other secret that I can tell you is think of your parents, think of your childhood, think of your journey as a person. Remind yourself of who you are. It always keeps you grounded. It always keeps you real. It also tells you what deserves for you to participate in and what doesn't. There are things that are just sometimes so petty that they don't deserve for you to participate in.
Do you know what? I've been talking to you for the last 15 minutes, and I got to say, Gaurav, I feel there's something about you, these vibes that I'm feeling of you. I've got to say thanks to you as well, because these are so positive vibes. I'm feeling so calm as well. There's that kind of hota hai, that kind of relaxation that I'm getting. So thank you very much for that, because I think what you're saying is also, it makes a lot of sense, and I think it will with a lot of people, a lot of listeners that are tuned in. Thanks very much for that, Gaurav. Let's go to a couple more questions here. There's one I'm getting from Ruhi, who's asking, who's the one person you found the most fake in the house and why?
Oh, many of them. Difficult to say which one was the most. Well, a lot of them had sort of these masks, and I used to find it odd that the show would allow them to keep the mask on, because there were many times during the day that the mask was off. Like you could see the real person peeping out. But the show never chose to grab that moment and bring it out. I felt like the show kind of benefited from the mask, so they continued to allow these people to have it. So there were many of them like that. The Manu had a mask, but his mask was obvious. He said he wanted to be a part of the show since many, many years. He's been thinking and dreaming and wishing to be here. And so, he's going to be like a contestant. He understands what that is. Manveer had a mask. His real life, his real aspersions, his real comments would come out. There was one day when I was sitting there and he was saying something like, ये लड़की ज़्यादा पढ़ लिख गई है इसलिए ऐसी बातें कर रही है. And I wanted to, tell him, I saw this on TV after I came out, and I wanted to tell him saying, why didn't you say this in front of me? Then I would have told you, what that actually means. Because otherwise he would continue to say socially correct things, and that you would give him appreciation for. So on and so forth. There's a Mona who would cry in front of the camera every time. Never hide it, never go inside the washroom and cry, never trying to hide it from everyone else as well. So, who cries like that about things, sitting out in the open with your tears streaming down your face, with camera zooming in on your face, you know that the camera is zooming on your face, you know people are walking past. Who does that? Unless you want people to see. So there is a bit of a mask, and I'm not trying to pull these people down and say that this was a bad thing. That's what the show is about, and they were playing the show. It's not a bad thing. But if you ask me, I wasn't there to play, so hence I can say this is what it is.
Okay. Sorry, Gaurav, I've got about 2 minutes. Yeah, I want to ask you these two questions. One is about Shivika. Shivika's asking, Barney J repeatedly used the word High Court. Was she hinting at your girlfriend?
The High Court of India is a very respectable institution, and we shouldn't talk about it like this.
Okay, and
we should respect the law of the country.
Okay, so let me ask you straight up. Gaurav Bani wants to know, is Gaurav Chopra in a relationship?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay. And then Valentine's पर क्या हो रहा है? क्योंकि Valentine's is next Tuesday. So anything you got planned?
But if you ask somebody 2-3 days before Valentine's Day and he says not yet, then Valentine's Day is like a exciting day.
Okay. Well, right then. Gaurav, there's some kind of like mystery hoti hai aapke saath, na? So I'm trying to get more out of you, but I think in the next interview that I do with you, I'll definitely get to the bottom of it. Abhi time nahi hai, but thank you so much for your time, Gaurav. Have you got a final message for all your fans out there?
For everyone who's tuned in, well, you know, the show has gotten me connected to so many of you. I know there are people who've liked me before, who followed my work, but then so many more now through the show, and I can't thank Bigg Boss enough for all of this love that I'm getting, for all the support, but most importantly for all the understanding, that I've gotten from all of you. Thank you very, very much.
Gaurav, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on my show, and thank you for being a brilliant housemate in Bigg Boss, and all the best with all your future endeavours, and let's catch up very, very soon with all that mystery unveiled here on my show, all right?
Slowly, Raj, slowly.
Have yourself a good Valentine's with whoever it is going to be.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a good one too.
Thank you very much. Take care. All right, bye. I think that's Gaurav Chopra. I'll be back in 2 minutes after a check on the news.
12:60 a.m. Digital, online, mobile app.
This is Sabras Radio.
A £60 million government probe in